Hello and welcome to Let's Ask the Angels on Spreaker. I'm your host, Barbara Calvano. It is my honor to serve you with guidance and messages to support you on your path of living with mastery. Hello everyone, it's Barbara Calvano and welcome to Let's Ask the Angels here on Spreaker and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. I am here to give you your angel messages for the week of June 23rd through the 29th. And if you're new to me, welcome. You can find out all about me at my website, which is bcalvanocoaching.com. I offer 1 hour and also new half-hour readings. You can find out all about that at my website. Email me with any questions also. You know, in a reading, you might get the coaching that you need for what you're going through right now. Because I bring over 40 years, yes, 40 years of taking personal development courses here in the New York City area. And I also combine that with my angel certifications and the ability to read tarot and oracle cards. But basically, I'm tuning into your energies and helping you see where you may have blocks or what may be holding you back. And a lot can be done in one session. And it's really up to each one of us because we have free will to create our lives. And given that, I'm going to also say that lots of things are happening in the world, and it all wants us to be distracted. And you're going to hear about that in the reading this week. And I was guided to use the Divine Feminine Oracle by Megan Watterson. And again, when I do feminine goddesses and whatnot, they help everyone, whether you identify as male or female or in between. And it can only help us to see these two sides that we all have, the yin and the yang, the active, the receptive. And both of us, we all need both sides. We all need to be able to have both. Before I go into the reading, just a brief thing. I like to share what's been happening in my own life and how I use the angels. I went to a memorial for my husband's friend, who my husband was active in the marathon running community here in New York City, and we went to a friend's funeral, actually memorial. He was only 79, and he had run over 2,000 races in his life and over 300 marathons. So yes, he was an avid runner. And it was interesting to see that between you and me, the past 35 years since I've known him, it was like a blink of an eye. And it made me think about our own memorials and funerals that we may have at one point. And how you would choreograph it, how you would create it. And not to sound maudlin or anything, but to really take a look at what is our life about. For this person, he really loved running. He really loved it a lot. And it really defined him. So we want to take a look at what have we created that defines who we are. And if you're still looking, it's never too late to start on what, we're all sitting in our chairs and we're looking all around with photographs of this person and whatnot. And how do we want to live our lives? And it's really possible to live longer these days with medical technology and support. And it's something to think about while we face the day-to-day issues that are coming at us. I think if we look at the bigger picture, how do we want to be remembered? And not necessarily like, oh, she was a good person and a nice person, but what really is our life about? And sometimes an angel card reading can help you with that, working with Archangel Jeremiel, who helps us with what's called the life review. Now, to look at our life as if it was a movie from the beginning, middle to the end. And our friend died young at 79. He ended up having pancreatic cancer and he had had 2 strokes. We have another friend who has the same pancreatic cancer, yet he has chosen to find some solutions that are not available in the United States. So he went to Mexico, where there's alternative care And also he has to raise the funds. They did a GoFundMe to raise the thousands of dollars that's going to pay for this alternative care to help him heal from his pancreatic cancer. So we're all going to be hit by some kind of obstacle. And one of the things about working with the angels, which I like to call, it's like the chat GPT of the universe. You ask a question, you're going to get some ideas, some suggestions. But one of the things is that there's so much help available. And you might say, well, what if I needed to do a GoFundMe? And how would I raise $100,000 if I've never done that before? Well, you could learn. You absolutely could learn. Or you could say, I can't do that, and then pass on that possibility of having that cure. So I'm just saying this because in this world, a lot of it's going to be dependent on having the courage to see those parts of ourselves that we kind of hide. Like, are we too afraid to ask for help? And that's actually in one of the cards today. So when I do angel cards, tarot readings, and whatnot, it's not just I'm giving you a prediction of your life. It's kind of like a reflection of how we could be to look and create more possibilities than what's right in front of our eyes. And in a world where we automatically react to something that's happening, we're very limited because it seems like, well, we just stop and maybe we hide. That also could be something that's going to be in the cards today. So the reasons why I do this show, and I've done it since 2013, is because it's to introduce other ways of looking at things. It's not about enrolling people into joining a church or having to believe in angels. But if you could think about angels as ideas, they're floating around. They're being given to us. Ideas. More than what we would normally think of. Or possibilities. You could think of it that way. In the normal way that we look at things, there's only maybe very limited possibilities or no possibility when something bad happens to us or something very upsetting. So that's something that I learned in one of the courses that I took here in New York City that helped me enormously. Sometimes what's in front of us is not what we think it is. We may only be reacting from our past, where as a child something happened and we had no power. So when we work with our angels and guides, we actually get back in touch with our power, our personal power, our ability to feel inspired, hopeful, to take actions. The ability to, be conscious and aware that there are possibilities, much more than we think. And in this world, that's one of the things that, how I consider my higher power, God, Goddess, and all. There is unlimited resources. But that's just an idea, but it's the idea that I choose. Or you could live with an idea that there's only so much, only so many solutions, that there's a limited amount of good in the world. And will it take effort? Absolutely, absolutely. But that's where our angels or our inspired idea messengers come to us. They will help us with this particular issue. So my other friend who is still alive with the same stage 4 pancreatic cancer is actually getting help. And so far it looks pretty good with what he's doing. Now, in this day and age, I'm going to say this again, there might be a time where we might have to enroll people, like it's like being a politician for yourself, asking for the votes so that you can achieve something that you might see as impossible. And I talked about this before. I had taken a course where we had to do a community project, and my project was to help inner city students read, because I loved reading. I love reading, and I wanted to help a school, and I was going to decorate their library to make it more enticing for them to go into the library. And when I was given this high school to support and help, I went to visit it, and the fact was that they didn't need it to be decorated. This is where the kids went to hide from the other kids that were stealing their lunch money. So this was a school in Brooklyn, and what they needed, in fact, was money to renovate their computer library, because all the extra money was going to the football program. So I ended up doing a fundraiser for this school. And in my fundraiser, it was a dance concert and whatnot, and it did not raise a lot of money. And I'm just shortening the story about what we did, but I ended up not raising hardly any. They needed $150,000, and I think I raised $2,000. So what happened was, what I saw was that none of the school members came to the concert. Nobody. They didn't even tell their people about it. And that really pissed me off, and it really saddened me. And I got on the phone with them and I said, listen, the money's out there. It's just that you're not asking for it. So I also took that on, and I ended up calling one of their, got a list of all their alumni, and I found a very wealthy alumni from the school. David Geffen, actually, the record and music, very wealthy and creative person. And I called him, and I called their company, and they had already given their money for the year for their support for such programs of wanting to support. And so I didn't hear from them, but within the next 6 months, I got a letter from the school that the program had been completed and they received the money. So I'm pretty sure that this company ended up giving them the money that was needed. But I got on the phone and I started calling all these people who had graduated from the school, and I did everything I could on my part. And later I was asked to speak to all the principals of the Brooklyn area about how I did it. And mostly, number one, I was unstoppable. I didn't stop just because my benefit concert only raised $2,000 out of the $1,500, the $150,000 that they needed. And I got creative. I just really got creative. And even when I was told that there were no monies for it, I kept going. And the money came, and they were able to complete their computer library. And I share that because I cared more about the kids and about the kids being able to be in a safe place where they could use the computers to study and learn than the fact that I was a disappointment, or I felt like I was a failure in my own efforts. So that's one example. So I'm going to go ahead now and do the reading for the week again of June 23rd through the 29th. Again, I'm using the goddesses. Let it land for you how it may. Again, we all have the ability to be inspired by gods, goddesses, and angels, in fact. So the first card is, and the pictures will be at my website if you want to see them. Always subscribe to my newsletter, and you can get the photographs of the cards so you can look at them yourselves and to see if anything else resonates for you. And that's part of learning how to read and decipher oracle cards. So the first card is Inanna, and this is what we've been going through in the position, the first card, the Queen of Heaven and Earth. And it says, I have nothing to hide. I see and accept all that I am. And Inanna represents the power that comes back to us when we accept and integrate our shadow. And what is our shadow? It's all those things that we feel that we don't want people to know. How scared we are, how weak we may feel we are, how inadequate, how any of these things. That we're not enough, that we can't. This is all of our shadow. And Inanna was the most prominent female deity in ancient Mesopotamia. So this is at the height of her worship was around 4000 to 2000 BC. So we're talking a long time ago. And when we draw this card, it means Inanna goes into the depths of her own unconscious to merge with her twin sister self. She becomes more powerful when she is no longer using conscious psychic energy to keep her shadow or negative attributes hidden deep underground. So it's really asking us to take a look at ourselves. Where do we feel stopped? Or we may not even notice that we're stopped because it's so natural for us to be limited in how we go about life. We may think that that's normal because that's how we've always done it. Our families have done it, And this is what we do. We only express ourselves so much. And that's it. Maybe that's not it all. So she courageously descends and faces the aspects of herself that are hard to get to when she's fully dressed or cloaked heavily in the ego. So Inanna is an invitation to get naked. Really, it takes courage to really look where we can look at our most naked self, where we feel most fragile, most vulnerable, we could be embarrassed. And we kind of may just keep that covered, because why would we want to tell anybody and get humiliated? She wants us to see how holy and sacred it is to be vulnerable. As above, so below. This is an alchemical adage that suggests heaven and earth are not so separate. It suggests that within us, deep down in the dark cages where we place parts of ourselves, the truths that exist there also exist right here on the surface of our everyday lives. So if we are exerting great amounts of energy to keep from seeing our shadow, it is actually playing a large role in our conscious life. So again, if we have a certain way of being, a certain way we continue to do things in life that's really not giving us power, holding ourselves back, we could again say, well, this is just who I am. But maybe it isn't. Maybe it's just a habit that we developed. So that's when we face what we think is dark or negative about us. Really embrace it and see it for what it is. A beautiful, broken place that's a call for love. Then we can emerge more whole. We can marry the light and dark aspects of our being. And in uniting our twin sister from the depths, that's the other part of us, we have conscious and the unconscious, stop projecting her into other women or people. We can see and own the hot mess we often are and not get sabotaged by it. The light must cast a shadow, and the high priestess is the one who gets called to love them both. Can I love my shadow as much as my light? That's the question. And the intention here is I have nothing to hide. I see and accept all that I am. And as I've shared this before, I am 35 years sober from being in AA. And one of the things I learned, then way more than just stopping to drink, was I learned about how much I didn't want to embrace my dark side, which was that I was afraid of people. I was afraid of life. And as much as you could try to get straight A's or do the best and try to appear perfect on the outside, on the inside it was just this very fragile sense of a person who didn't know how to speak my truth. It's like I kind of lived in a box, and I was okay with that. I thought, this is who I am. I have to go through life this way. And by learning to express myself more and finding out that who I am is indeed a free, loving person, I got to love those parts of myself. And I learned that by hearing it from other people too. They shared the same thing. I was not alone in it. So the next card is, right now for the present, is the card Yeshe Tsogyal. I hope I'm getting it pronounced correctly. And it's the Lady of the Lotus born. And embodiment is the deepest bliss. My body was made for enlightenment. Again, going back to ourself. So Yeshe Tsogyal represents a deep wisdom that has been much misunderstood. She's the ultimate spiritual wisdom that the human body is all that is needed for enlightenment. And so she was born a princess in Tibet in 777, the year 777. So according to legend, she was born in the same way as the Buddha. Now let's just go to what her message is about. It can be so easy to forget that everything we touch, everything we say, and everything we do is not separate from the divine. So God, divine, is in everything. It's not separate. Yes, she embodied one of the most potent spiritual truths. The female body is an asset to enlightenment, not a hindrance. The body is a vehicle to free us from the idea that there are any limitations to reality. And as I say female body, we all have a female and male parts to us, so not to worry about that. Tantra, which weaves together the sacred and the mundane to reveal spiritual nature of all things, allowed Yeshi to realize that she was both an ordinary woman and an incarnation of the Buddha. We are both human and divine. We are both a mortal body and an eternal essence that continues on. The body too often can be the scapegoat for so much hate, distrust, and violence. The body holds infinite wisdom, pleasure, and possibilities. This is the moment to see your gorgeous body as the tremendous gift it is. It's the moment to realize that there's no greater intoxication than just being fully in your body from head to soul. Yeshi is the call to remember that the holiness of your flesh, the deep wisdom of your body contains, and the temple you walk around in every day. The meditation is, what helps me remember that my body is sacred? And the intention here is, embodiment is the deepest bliss. My body was made for enlightenment. So even with our frailties of being in a human body and the changes that it goes through, and we feel life through our body. It's so easy to get angry at our body. But to know that this is the vehicle from which we are going to have the joy of life itself. And as I was at that memorial of our family, our friend who passed away, again, early, not so old, at 79. I mean, he lived his life the way he really wanted to. I think perhaps he could have worked better with his doctors and therapists, whatnot, if he wanted to live to 100. That's not everyone's goal. But for many people, they want a long life. And they want a long life where they feel comfortable in their bodies. I know for myself, learning to breathe and to stretch through yoga has been enormously helpful. And it's available for everyone in any class you can go to. Even there's no need to think that you need to know a lot. Everyone's a beginner. And you can start with the bare basics. And to learn how to breathe in your body can help through all situations in life. Because if you haven't noticed, things happen in the world, and the first thing we do is we kind of hold our breath and stop breathing. And that impacts all the organs in our body. And so we have this body to travel in. It's basically a skin bag, muscles and bones and whatnot and blood. And this is it. This is what we get to travel through life in. And the more we can embrace it and learn to love it better and learn to take care of it, the more fun you're going to have along the way. And each and every one of us will have to face certain things during our life. Illnesses, injuries, all the things that the nervous system experiences when it's hit with emotions. It's all through our body. And when we learn to embrace it with a lot more love, there is a opening. There's a feeling of freedom that you can have, that you can carry with you as you go through life, as you go through all the changes. And then the third card is Enheduanna. These are interesting names that we have this week. And here we go. Bear with me 1 second. The High Priestess. I am at one with my soul, and my soul is a legacy of love. And Enheduanna embodies the ability to become one with our soul, to live out our highest purpose. And again, I'm talking about before, when you discover your purpose, when you know that your life has an overview, like we were at this memorial and we were sitting there and people had handed out 3 pages of all the major races that he had run and the score, the times that he had achieved. And that was interesting. But what do we want to be remembered by? This person wanted to be remembered by all the races he had run. And yes, so it's something to think about. And here we go for the third card here. Over 4,000 years ago, the high priestess Adwana wrote in the Exaltation of Inanna. So she's related to the first card that I shared. Most precious lady, beloved by An, your holy heart is great. And in the Sumerian temple hymns, whatever enters you is unequaled, whatever leaves endures. She's the limitless love and the inexhaustible power that moves through us when we merge with the soul. We each have a personal myth. We each have an Ishadeva, a personal deity who inspires and compels us to bring heaven right here on earth by moving us through the fierce conviction that we're divinely led. And Adwana encourages us to integrate our light and our dark, to bring our unconscious aspects of self into consciousness. So this is repeated. This whole thing, most likely, of embracing what we're feeling right now with what's going on in the world, because we might not like it. But when we embrace it, that's part of who we are. If we're afraid, if we feel hopeless, if we feel angry, if we feel rageful, all of that is part of us. It's all part of us, and we don't want to deny that. It is who we are, part of us as a human being. So the high priestess is often described as the guardian of the unconscious. She's the aspect in all of us that holds the veil of awareness that separates us from our inner depths. Adwana is about merging the awareness of our soul and all the love and power it gives to us with our individual personality or ego, what Swiss psychologist Carl Jung would call personality 1 and personality 2. And Adwana wants you to live and breathe your soul. How do we do that? Live and breathe your soul. She wants you to become so intimate with it that there's no longer any separation. And there are no more excuses or apologies for how powerful you are. You are the high priestess. You are this eternal. She whispers, your holy heart is this legendary. And the meditation is, what allows me to experience the reality of my soul? Great question. What allows me to experience the reality of my soul? And the intention is, I am one with my soul, and my soul is a legacy of love. And how I bring that, again, into what's happening in the world, which is causing a lot of upset in our country and in the world. I'm in the United States, in New York City. So what allows me to experience the reality of my soul? I'm going to say it's your compassion. It's what you care about. It's what lights you up. It's what moves you to tears. It's what enrages you. It's your connection to human life. The reality of your soul is connected to every living organism on the planet, here and over there and across the ocean. And what may allow you to experience the reality of your soul may be a moment of beauty and looking at something in nature, or being with your pet or your children or a loved one, or gazing at the sky, or seeing and hearing someone who is courageous and speaking their truth and inspiring you to speak your truth. What allows me to experience the reality of my soul? So it's a great question to ask and to know, to be reminded that whatever you're experiencing right now, you are connected to your soul. It's not disconnected just because you feel hopeless or sad. The most important thing is that you are You're not in denial of it. You're not pushing it down. You're not numbing yourself. You're letting yourself feel the raw nature of who you are and what you're experiencing right now. I am one with my soul, and my soul is a legacy of love. So those are the three messages, and I love how the first two cards are totally related. And it really is about embracing where you're at right now and what's going on with you. And as I always share, there's help available. Therapists, counselors, 12-step programs. There's always people around. There's never a reason to feel alone or totally that there's no one there. There's always someone. And even if you have to go on TikTok and share it there or on social media, but it's one of the things that I provide with my services, with my angel card readings. It is a coaching session to help you get on the path that you need to really enjoy life. It's been a tumultuous past 6 months here in the United States, and it's affecting other parts of the world. And how can we still live with hope, and how can we still live with joy while we see and experience so many things happening? And a lot of it, that will be dependent on us listening to our own soul, like what's going to make us feel better today. And to still go ahead and plan those things that you want with your family and with your life, to still go ahead and march forward with those things you care about. And don't let the noise of the problems of the world pull you down. And to get involved. And to know that you have the energy to be yourself. You have the support of your angels and guides and gods and goddesses to support you to shine in the world, to be there. It's not a time to hide. If anything, the frequency is so palpable to allow you to express yourself in the highest way you've ever known possible, because people's souls are speaking forward. The ones that want to create a world for everybody are speaking forward. And you can tell there's a difference between the souls that really want to help everyone move forward and the ones that are not. It's very clear to see that. And it's not a time to hide your light. It is not that time. And even if you emerge a little, but to know that this is the time for your greatest self to emerge. It may not look like it, but this is the time. And what it might look like is just like the cards said, look at what you think is about yourself, that you're not the one. You're not the one to express yourself, that you don't matter. Your dreams don't matter. What the messages from our past guides and goddesses and angels are saying, this is the time is now. So I wish you the very best. Again, if you like this podcast, please share it with others so that they can get support from it. And please visit my website, subscribe to my newsletter so that you can also get the weekly newsletter email with the photographs of these cards. And if you feel that you're ready to jump in for a reading, I do have the half-hour and the full-hour sessions available online. All right, my friends, have a beautiful, beautiful evening. Till next time.